Hey friends, we are going to talk about ancient Babylonian numbers. Now, the basic idea, there's only two shapes in the Babylonian number system, so that makes it kind of easy. The thing that's a challenge for this one, kind of like with the ancient Mayans, is that it's a different base number system. The Babylonian number system is base 60. And so my theory is that's why we have 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, is that actually comes from ancient Babylon. It's a theory of mine. I haven't actually looked it up, but I think it makes sense, don't you? Anyway, well, let's get right down to it. Now I will show you what these two shapes are that they have. So the basic shapes are, for ones, it's kind of a little triangle with a little tail that comes out of it. So if you have one of those, it's a 1. If you have two of them, 2. And 3, up to 3 we can have next to each other. Okay, after that we start stacking them. So for 4, we're going to have the 3 up top. And you can draw separate triangles. I'm just trying to be fast. And then they put 1 underneath. And there's your 4. So then 5. There's going to be a lot of drawing, guys. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then we need to have 2 down here for 4, 5. Keeping the pattern going. 6. You guessed it, it's 3 and 3. Sound effects always make it better, right? And then 7, we start stacking a third row again. So we'll do 3 and 3. Knew I was going to do that. Sometimes forget to put the tails on them. 1, 2, 3, and 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 down here for the 7. And then 8, of course, will have 2 at the bottom, and 9 will have 3 at the bottom. So 9 is 3, 3, and 3. Lots of little triangles with stands. All right, so that's 1 through 9. Then to get our 10s is a little sideways arrow guy with a little corner taken out like that. So 10 is like that. Then if you wanted to do 20, you'll have 2 of them, and they kind of stack like that. And then I think up to 30, you'll just do the 3 in the row. When we get to the 40, so not an artist. Okay, and then 40, you kind of get 3 up top. And then another one down here. But we can get all the way up. Well, we go to 50. The highest one we'll have is 50 because it's a base 60 system. The highest number we have to make with all of these would be 59. So 59 is the highest one that we would make, and so that's going to be 5 of these little arrow guys. All the drawing. 3, and then 4, 5, and 9 of the and so 59. So that's, we can count all the way from 1 to 59 with these basic shapes. Now, let's talk about how to get numbers bigger than that. We have to, again, deal with our powers of 60. So, luckily they wrote the same order that we did. So their powers, they have a 1's place, and then they have a 60's place, And then they have a 3600 place because that's 60 times 60. And we're definitely not doing anything higher than that. Now, the Babylonians did not have a 0 or a place holder. And so, therefore, it's sometimes very difficult to tell whether these numbers are in one place or are they in two different places. So, I mean, this just reminds us how important that 0, that placeholder, really is. So, for example, like if they wanted to write 60, which means we want a 1 in the 60s place, so we draw 1, but we don't have any way to indicate the fact that there is nothing in the 1's place. Like, literally, there's no, you just gotta hope you leave a big enough space. Welcome to Babylonian. It's amazing they made it all work out. So then 61 works out because that's going to be a 1 in the 60s place. And then you want to leave enough space to make sure that the 1 next to it definitely isn't attached. The 1s are pretty easy. It's when you have like a double-digit number next to another double-digit number. Then, like, what's happening? I don't know. Let's try some other numbers. How about the number 100? Okay, so you ask yourself, we definitely don't have enough to get to the 3rd place. So how many 60s are in 100? Well, there's only one 60 in 100, so that's in the 60s place. And then that got us to 60. We need 40 more, so then we would draw 4 of our little sideways triangle guys. Okay, so again, you just have to be super careful to make sure that you leave enough space so we know that this is in the 60s place and these are in the 1's place. Now we can get a little, excuse me, a little bit more crazy. What if we try like, 120, this is a fun number, 120, because that's just two 60s, right? So that means you'd have 2 in the 60s place, but again, you don't have any way to say there's nothing in the 1's place. Craziness. Makes us all very grateful for 0. At least I hope it does. And then just for fun to do a bigger number, how about 1,002? All right, so 1,000, we still aren't big enough to get to our next power. And so we got to figure out how many 60s are in 1,000. And so really, if we take off a 0, how many 60s or how many 6s are in a, this is, so let's do some, I'm actually going to go grab a calculator just to make it go faster. So we do 60, we do 1,002 divided by 60. And so there is 16 60s in 1,002. So that means in the 60s place, we need to write the number 16. So that means we have a 10 and 5. Wait, I said 16. And 6. Oh, it's been a long day, friends. Okay. So that should be 16. And try to keep your 10s close to your 1s so that we know that those are all in the same place. Okay? Then if we do 60 times 16, that tells us that that got us to 160. So if we do the number we started with minus 960, we have left over 42. So we need to have 42 in the 1's place. So here we go, drawing again. We're going to have triangle guy, triangle guy, triangle guy, triangle guy. So that's our 40, and then we need 2. Okay, so this number means we've got 16 60s and 42 1s. If we add all that up, it comes to 1,002. So on your worksheet for this set, and I literally had to make this by hand, you're going to go from the Babylonian to our Arabic numbers, and then from our Arabic numbers to the Babylonian. Now, I wasn't super clear on whether there were spaces between them. Like this one feels like maybe we do have, like they're in different places, or maybe not. So I've got answers for depending on how you interpret it. Number 9 is pretty definitive that that's in the 3 different places. So the one's the 60s and the 3600. But just give it your best go and give it a try and just draw some triangles and sideways triangles and have a little bit fun. Bye!